You're listening to Ernestly Speaking, the only weekly podcast that covers friends, foes, and anything that goes. And now, for your badass host, Ernest Owens. And we're back for another episode of Ernestly Speaking with your host, Ernest Owens, myself. Well, it has been quite the week. It has been a lot of good spring weather. I'm really enjoying the weather. I think, it's been a little couple of chills in between, but overall, it has been a very consistent spring, I would say, so far. I feel like spring is here. I'm not trying to jinx myself, but I really do feel like we're finally in that weather where it is, I'm not ready to pull out the shorts yet, but I am starting to let go of some of the heavy jackets because technically, it's going to be Tuesday. This Tuesday is apparently the first day of spring. So looking pretty good. Wasn't that much snow, which I'm happy about. Winter wasn't that bad. Again, climate change isn't experiencing that because I feel like many years ago when I was in undergrad, I felt like we had like real blizzards. Like Philly used to get real bad. Like I remember there was one time where Penn did not want to cancel school. And I was like waiting. I was like, if the city cancels, then that means the colleges have to cancel. And then finally the city did, and then Penn had to cave in. I mean, we had like a snow day. Like it was one of the few times we had snow day. And I just remember it was like a blizzard, like snow was everywhere. It was like a winter wonderland. But those days in Philly, I feel like, I don't know, I don't feel like we really have them like that anymore. Like, you get one or two couple of days, but outside of that, it's not really anything like epic. So, it's a little touch and miss. But overall, I'm ecstatic. So it's been good. It's interesting news, so my brother who just like turned 21, we, had some good times. We went out, caught up, took him out to his first, legal drink. And he really had a good moment. He really felt, it was great. Which is why you know, was excited, personally. But overall, I was happy. But some news: he is now single. Yes, I'm just as shocked as some of you, and I say this kind of sarcastically. But he decided to call it quits. It's a major breakup. They was together for over a year, and he's now a single man. It's shocking, but he's on a sabbatical. To be clear, he's 21. He wants to just focus on his professional, endeavors and really allow this summer. I think he's gonna have a hot boy summer. But anyway, he wants to focus, and so we had a real deep talk. It was very interesting. I felt like a real big brother. I was giving him advice on how to move on. The breakup was clean. He made the decision. There wasn't any infidelity and all that, but it was a breakup. And amicable is suggestive. I mean, she kind of unfollowed and all that. So it kind of felt a little, strong, but he's still on business. He's very serious that he's not going to, because I was like, don't get everybody hype. Is this a makeup or breakup? He's like, no, I really think I need my time. So he's a single guy and he's going to take time. He's about to be a senior, next in the fall. So I kind of feel like the timing of all this makes sense. She's a senior now, so she's going to graduate, this spring. It's a little bittersweet. So, I was helping him this weekend with his reflection, among other things I had going on this weekend. But, I was there, and I'm, being that big brother. Yeah. Life. So In other cool news, this week I am going to be honored by my old publication, Metro Philly. I'm on their power list, and they're honoring me with Sheps Media, who I believe owns them, and I'm being honored for being, powerful. So the honoring is going to be on Tuesday, and I'm being honored alongside some really great people. One of my favorite people in Philly, Chris Bartlett, who's the executive director of the William Wade LGBT Community Center. Perfect timing for him in the center, but he's also being honored as well for his work, his great work, and so many other great people are going to be honored as well. So I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be a great um, event, and it's always great to be honored and supported and loved by the fans and the people. So I'm super excited for all that's about to happen in that regard, because it's just cool. I really have been verkempt by all of like the just nice press and just cool stuff like that. I mean, I remember years like in my like mid 20s when I was really, kicking the door in and like just feeling snubbed and just being like, I was never on these lists. Like I never was on any of this stuff. And then all of a sudden, I want to say when I turned 30, I felt like there was just like a big, huge like push. Like all of a sudden, I mean, I was on this list and all this cool stuff. And it just really took off. And now it just has become a regular thing, which I don't take for granted. And, it's just, people always say, how does this work? How you get on? I was like, I just do the work. I do the work. I really get out of my comfort zone. I'm really contributing to community. I always tell people it's not just enough about what you do for yourself. It's about how are you being an active, visible participant in service. It's a combination of various things. That's what I've personally noticed. Because people always ask me all the time, like, how do you get on these lists and how you get this, how you get that? It's not just about how individually successful you are. Like you could have a great business, a great company, and all that. And that's cool. But you also have to show a commitment to service. Like, are you on boards? Are you, very active in, service work or partnership work? Are you doing, collaborating with some great service organizations and doing some really good, meaningful work outside of just building your own personal brand? I feel like a lot of the cookie cutter, business people, I think typically, don't get it often unless it's like a multi-billion-dollar, million-dollar company. But I see a lot of people who are great business people, like got good business acumen or have a real cool startup or something. But that's just it. It's a combination of various things, I think, that makes it. And that's what I've learned. And so I think in my earlier years, I think as I've gotten older, I have been more active in community engagement and like social issues and also my career work. And I think that is what's made the difference in my own personal observation. If I was self-reviewing myself, if I can make a guess. And then there's also people who just be buying their way on these lists, which is just, and we all know those people, like whose company, sponsored this, and they just kind of fall on there, no shade, but shade. And then there's people like, folks like myself and Chris, and he's in the nonprofit sector. They're just doing the work and really just being outward and visible in the community and also just really just out there. And so, it's a great opportunity. It's just always great to be honored and considered and nominated and all that stuff. So, let's see what happens. More to come. But, yeah, other great stuff is happening. I got some big stories coming up. I just did a big story over the weekend, which, yes, we're going to talk about him and all the bullshit with him. And y'all know who I'm talking about. We're going to have a whole conversation about his ass. We're also, so there's some cool restaurant openings. I did a big story last week about this cool restaurant called 21 Pips that's in Ardmore. They just had a renovation and I had an exclusive first look into this place. It's a gaming, it's a restaurant. Like it's more like a cool fancy bar, but really good food. But it's all about games. So they have like over 400 different board games and activities you can play. They got like a board game whisperer and game tender, I think they call it, like a bartender, but it's a game tender. And cool stuff like that. And it's an art one. It's really dope. But I have a really cool story that's coming out this week about a new place, a Black-owned gelato shop that is having its first ever flagship location in Kensington called Cloud Cups. And the owner who's there is super dope. His fiance, she's there working with him, and she's got candles. It's gelato. Like they have 36 flavors, 36 different flavors. The link is in my bio if you want to read the story. It'll be all over social media. But they have like 36 flavors they sell on location out of 150 cool flavors. They're super dope. They also have a lounge. They're about to do a gelato making workshop inside of the location. And a cool thing, a cool fun fact. They open on Tuesday, and on Tuesday will be the premiere of a special exclusive flavor that I made and came up with the owner. Over the weekend, we got together and I was the first to test out his gelato making workshop. And it's going to start, I believe the workshops are going to start in April, but we came up with a flavor. This flavor is dope. It is called the Irish Cookies and Cream. It is made with Bailey's Irish coffee creamer, which has like the Irish coffee and flavor with Bailey's, and also Oreos, like Oreos, actual Oreos. And y'all, it is dope. It is in an ode to St. Patrick's Day, which is coming up this week. And this flavor, this batch, we exclusively made in location. And it is the bomb. It tastes good. And you can purchase a scoop or two or more on Tuesday at their grand opening. So if you want to try one of my, I've never done anything like this before, but I got a gelato flavor, y'all. Go to the location, check it out, and taste the flavor. Like really, like enjoy it. Like, or get the other ones. They have other great flavors. So like, I'm not selfish, but it's going to be a lot of great stuff that's going to be there. So if you are hype, don't miss the opportunity. It's going to be some really good food and a lot of great stuff. So I'm super excited personally about this because they have so many cool flavors. So I'm going to tell you all the location of the place. I'm big on the hype around this. So it is in Kensington, and it's in the area in Kensington is very nice. I know people talk about Kensington, this and that, but it's in a very safe area, very cool area, very nice retail area at a place called Macon Studios North. So this is on 325 I Street. And it's on their first floor of that building, but it is dope. So if you are interested in trying a new gelato flavor, ask for the Ernest Owens flavor, ask for the Irish cookies and cream. That is the flavor. And it is only going to be sold exclusively this week. However, I think if it's a smash hit, they might keep it. Who knows? Who knows? Because it is very good. If I do say so myself, like it is very good. Like I made it, and, I, got creative with the concept, and the owner, whose name is Jalen Thomas, Galen Thomas, I'm sorry. No, Jalen Thomas. Yeah, Jalen Thomas. And his fiance is Victoria Pickens, who they sell retail. They have like these really dope t-shirts, which I got a t-shirt. It's really nice. And they have these scented candles. She makes the candles, and her candles smell good. And I know a lot of people make candles, but let me just like shout these candles. The candles are made with apricot coconut cream wax and some essential oils, and they smell good. And so what makes them good is that they're inspired by the Cloud Cup gelato scented. So the flavors are like basically from the essence of the gelato. Limoncello, strawberries and cream, cereal milk, mint chocolate chip, and then a waffle cone scent. All of it is in-house made. They even make their waffle cones in-house. Everything is in-house. And what I like about their flavors is that all their flavors, they do not skimp or get cheap with their flavors. So when they say cookies and cream, when they say Oreos, they use Oreos. When they say Apple Jacks, they use Apple Jacks, not the great value version. They use the actual legit ones. Like all their flavors taste like what you order. So if you get a Fruity Pebbles, that a Fruity Pebbles one, it tastes like Fruity Pebbles. Like they use the real ingredients. Like our Irish cookies and cream, we use Bailey's Irish coffee, baby. We use the real stuff. They do not play with their flavors. They do not play with their ingredients. I was there. I tried all 36 flavors. Yes, all 36 flavors. Just want to say that. I tried all 36 flavors and liked them all. What other things? Ramadan is happening. And for those who observe, I want y'all to know that on Eater Philly, our site, we have a list of halal, the essential halal restaurants in Philadelphia, 15 halal restaurants that are certified, approved, and very diverse all across Philly, West Philly, South Philly, North Philly. We got locations everywhere for halal. So for those who observe Ramadan, we got you covered here at Eater Philly, because some of these places be forgetting the holidays. One of the things that I was really big on as being an editor is that when there were important religious holidays, we would create maps and guides. So we do stuff for Passover. We've done stuff for Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, Christmas. We did something for another holiday. Oh my goodness, I need to know it. And it was a big deal. A lot of people really was hyped when we did this holiday. But we did Ramadan, and we did another one. I want to tell y'all what it is. It is Hindu. I remember that. We did Lunar New Year. We did the Lunar New Year, which was really dope. And just a really, cool way to learn just about the cuisines of other cultures, which is important. And also because we got different readers. It was Diwali. That's what it was, Diwali. We did something for Diwali. A lot of Indian, themed events and food restaurants. So we do a lot of very diverse spots because we know people come from different backgrounds and they should be represented. So I just wanted to put that out there. And then we also did a list of most anticipated restaurants of spring, because now that spring is here, we getting crunk. I'm excited about some of the restaurants. So here are some of my personal restaurants I'm excited for. I'm excited for Bastia, which is going to be in Fishtown. It's owned by the owner of the chef of La Caviar, Tyler Atkin, who used to own Res Ipsa, which I used to love. It's a Mediterranean restaurant that's really dope. I like Provenance, which is coming up in Society Hill. This is Chef Nicholas Basket's French seafood restaurant, which is super dope. There's also Campar, which is owned by Ange Braca, which I've been a fan of her for a long minute, but now she has a full a la carte style restaurant with Malaysian cuisine, and that's about to be killer. I'm also looking forward to Maherans, like just straight up Maherans, who, for those who know Fishtown, it was William Maherons and Sons in Fishtown. But this is going to be a more laid-back, casual Italian spot that's going to be focused on pizza, and this is going to be in Center City at Ludlow. So this is going to be a more casual spot. But I'm super excited about those restaurants. There's a couple other ones on Eater Philly's list, but those are some of my restaurants that when they open, I will be there. I will be in the spot. I will be eating the food. I will be taking pictures and showing off. So I'm looking forward to that. So let's get into the tea, because this has been a very tea-full week. So Trump got legal delays. Y'all, my annoyance with all of this, like apparently the Stormy Daniels, which we was looking forward to, next week, we were starting that trial, March 25th. Well, there appears to be some delays, some documents that have now come up in the case. And, unfortunately, it's not really coming from the Manhattan DA, who is Black. He's got an interesting name, actually. But he is the one that is like, I've been following him the whole time. And it's not his call. I think it's the state. And it's really frustrating because it's like, what's happening? We had a moment Alvin Bragg is his name. He is the black district attorney for Manhattan, and he's like the one I believe involved. I believe so. But I can't keep up with all of Trump's cases. I mean, I am doing the best I can, but I'm just frustrated because it's like this trial is being once again. Um, there's some bombshells in this Stormy. There's a documentary, Stormy Daniels documentary, that got the lawyers apparently mad. Stormy Daniels got a new documentary that's coming out, and I've seen it. It's on Peacock. I believe it's out now for the public, but I got to see it, and it's spicy. Just want to put that out. It is very spicy. I mean, I'm not going to tell everything. I want you all to watch it. I do think, a lot of times these type of documentaries get a little salacious to the point where you're just like, is somebody trying to make a come up? But it's an important part of American history. So the documentary on Peacock is called Stormy, just Stormy. She's 45 years old, and she is an adult, pornographic adult film actress and even director. And, there's a lot of controversy around her because apparently, there's some beef with Trump and her because of, clearly there's drama with Trump. But they say, okay, so here's the ruling. Trump's hush money trial has been delayed by 30 days. That's what the judges have ruled. So it's not happening until 30 days. So we'll be back here in April. Donald Trump, of course, is trying to delay his trial even further. What's even messy is the documentary, which came out over the weekend. I think it was planned to come out before the trial, because the trial was supposed to start, clearly, but the trial's supposed to start on next Monday. Now that's not happening. So the documentary is going to get a lot of play before the trial. And I wonder if clearly jurors are not, I don't think they're going to be permitted to watch it, but who knows? But I wonder how that's going to play a role in the trial and if we'll get a verdict. We might get a verdict. I believe there'll be enough time for us to get a verdict in that case. But that's not considered one of the blockbuster cases. Like the insurrection, all of these other criminal trials, seem like we're not going to get a verdict on any of those cases before the election. So we'll get one on Stormy Daniels, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to change anything. So in other words, people, vote. That's the answer. The answer is you're going to have to vote. You're going to have to show up to the polls. The feds, the courts, no one's taking Trump out before then. What's going to take Trump out of political power is going to be this upcoming election. So everybody just needs to get their asses up and vote, period. So, it is what it is. Speaking of which, Fani Willis, listen. The Fulton County DA. So for those who've been keeping up, this is the woman who has a major case against Donald Trump. Like this is a big one about his, voter interference in Georgia. Like this is a massive lawsuit, a lawsuit. Like it's a massive case. She oversees it. She's the person doing it. She had a special prosecutor. His name is Wade. And they were in a relationship together and it's been, a lot. And so Wade is the special prosecutor. His name is Nathan Wade. And basically it came out that basically they were sleeping together. But the problem is that, the judge, made the decision to say that, look, Fani Willis can stay. Like, basically, she can continue her case. However, she's got to let prosecutor Nathan Wade go. Now, this was brought up by prosecutors that was claiming that some defendant was claiming that was connected to this case, was claiming that the relationship created a conflict of interest. The judge did not find the conflict of interest damaging enough to ask to suspend it, to disqualify her, to basically just cut this case. That's not happening. However, he did decide that she has to let him go. So Nathan Wade has to go. But Fani Willis stays. So that's it. That's the tea. I think the judge's ruling is fair. I figured that everybody wasn't going to be able to stay on board. Even though there was nothing criminal per se, it is a little weird that they got this little history together and none of this was upfront disclosed. Even though they said it was happening after the fact, but it's just a little too messy for me. It's a little too sticky. So I get the judge's ruling, and I think the judge's ruling was fair. And look, she's still on the case, which is important because she's got that institutional knowledge. So I think it was a smart move. So shit happens, but I'm hoping this case hurry up. But it seems like there's going to be delays with that. Other big things is the VP Vice President Kamala Harris, made a historic move. She made a visit to an abortion clinic. First president or vice president in American history to do such while in office. And it's caused a lot of conversations, which I'm happy she went. I mean, we've never had a woman VP. We've never had a woman president. So for her to be the first woman to be in either office and to be the first elected in such a position to go to an abortion clinic, it was a big damn deal. And I really hope that the Democrats, which I think they're doing, is really driving home the reproductive rights debate, because I think that's one of the strongest things they got going for them, because child student loans is part of it. But, people have their thoughts about that. The war right now, the Hamas-Israel war is, that's not one of their strongest suits right now in certain communities with voters, as we can see with some voters publicly not committed yet to a Democratic presidential candidate in, parts of Michigan and other places. So I think that the reproductive rights conversation is really crucial. The democracy conversation is, the whole save the soul of this nation, all that. I mean, it's more, it just feel, it's dead ass, but I do feel like a lot of people are reading it as a campaign rhetoric more than anything like dire. So it's I feel like if they keep focusing and talking about the reproductive rights situation and the crisis that's happening along that, and they do, tout more of their economic victories, I think there's a chance here. So I'm a little happy about this, but I know people are a little heartbroken. But TikTok, Congress has moved to ban TikTok based on China's influence. Now the Senate is going to get involved. I wanted to get banned. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I do want TikTok to be banned because I'm not on it and I don't like TikTok. I mean, I have a TikTok account, but some trolls last year, just was doing the most, and I just never really got into TikTok. I never felt something about TikTok. Anybody who know me know I never really got with TikTok. I just feel like there's something sus about it. Like in my gut, I just don't like TikTok. Have y'all noticed I'm a social media guy, but have y'all noticed that I never get gassed about TikTok? Y'all notice I never talk about it or get into it. I just find it concerning that China owns it, one. And I know that Mark Zuckerberg ain't no good and Elon Musk ain't either, but y'all have to understand this. They own a communist country that has ownership of a very major social media platform where they have access to your phone, your personal information, and they're a rival and an enemy of our country. Just doesn't sit well with me. I just, not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. I don't have it on my phone. I'm deactivated. I just find it really interesting. And I also think they just as an app, it's just I don't like the app. Like, I mean, it's racist. The algorithm is racist. And what I mean by that is that it favors white, influencers over black. It's a lot of theft on there, cultural theft, a lot of just extreme misinformation. And I feel like, I might sound a little, whatever, but it's creating a level of mass disinformation on a wide level. Like there are consistent reports of how misinformation and bad, unhealthy trends have really escalated on TikTok. Like people are really circulating misinformation about health, misinformation about food, about, skincare stuff. Like people are doing all types of dumb shit that they see on TikTok. And I feel like the American public, no shade, is very impressionable. And it's weird to me because I'm like, how is it that you're allowing an app that's created in your country not be used by your own citizens in your country, but you're making mass profit of it being in basically Western nations? Like, y'all better wake the fuck up, okay? I normally don't side with the government on shit, but I will say I do agree. Because after the 2016 election, with Russia's interference in election, y'all, we ain't got self-control like we think we do. People out here, like all of the misinformation that was on Facebook thanks to Russia's bullshit. Like that shit happened. That white supremacy, the misinformation, I mean, how certain people in all communities was eating up a lot of that misinformation that's happened. So I don't want to hear the whole people can, no, they can't. No, y'all can't. I as a journalist, I have seen college educated people push misinformation and disinformation around elections, politics, health. Like no one is gullible. Like unless you are an expert to this shit, like this is what you do. Like my craft is focused on media and facts and just going through, and like I see a lot of people see shit on Twitter and just go, well, I saw, like, why are we not using Google? Why are we not fact checking and source checking shit on the internet? Like random ass Twitter accounts is just out here putting out random shit that's not true. Now, there's some things, there are people with faces and accounts that are actual people might share things, and sometimes, there could be some validity, right? But I'm talking about actual information that's like about politics and elections and health. Like people are out here just sharing anything. And that gets me rattled. Like there's always celebrity gossip. Like that's just what it's going to be. People can always say crazy stuff about celebrities, and sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not. Like celebrities is another thing. But like when it comes to actual information about elections, politicians, policies, and people just rotating stuff, I mean, I've heard everything. That's the stuff that really grinds my gears. And that's why I just feel like with this election coming up, get TikTok out of here. Sorry. Don't care about your little cook stuff. Look at Eater Philly. Follow actual food publications. Read from actual chefs and people that come up with recipes. Because to be honest with y'all, a lot of this stuff that y'all are talking about are hacks. That shit been a hack. Like the hood knew, right? Like I saw somebody talk about something. Did you know that you can use leftover Chinese food containers? And I saw on TikTok this hack. They call them hacks, y'all. A life hack where I didn't really know that takeout Chinese food containers could be used as a way to pack your lunch and pack snacks. And just for those who was asking, yes, they were not, melanated. And I sat there and I was like, and you found that out on TikTok? Right. Like I saw someone was telling me like, oh, I saw this hack about grocery store bags. First of all, Black people have always saved grocery bags. Okay, that has been a thing. We was always reusing, reducing, recycling before white people decided that was a thing. That was always a thing over here in the House of Owens. Like we was always using plastic bags. Before y'all decided to get the reusable Aldi's bags, we always had bags. Like I don't know what, I guess. Like we always save containers. Listen, let me tell y'all a hack that's not a real hack. Do y'all know those Talentini sorbets? If you don't save those containers to put in coffee beans or rice or spices or other shit, I don't know what planet you on. Because if you're going to spend $4 for those gelatos, you better be keeping those containers and putting shit in them because they are like the best. Just a hack if you didn't know. And hell, you don't even have to use food. You could put medicine, you could put oil, whatever you want to put in it, you could put in it. Like just sidebar, right? Other cool tips for those who just want to know hacks all of a sudden. That like brown bags can help oxidize fruit, bananas if you want to brown them faster, or apples. You could always use brown bags, if we want to just talk. And also, aluminum foil can be used for many things outside of baking, if you did not know that already. Yeah. And that's fun life hacks that you don't have to go on TikTok to get. By the way, before I move on, the TikTok thing, if y'all been trying to figure out why TikTok has started commercials, because like no one really does commercials for social media, is because they've been on a campaign to try to promote people to lobby against their elected officials from voting against TikTok. And also they are using it as a way to showcase the value for the economy. Like they're trying to say that TikTok has helped local businesses, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? That has been partially true. But child, we don't need to deal with potential foreign espionage in order to support small businesses, baby. We can just use local news. We can support publications like Eater Philly. And, we can tip people and we can continue to promote people on Instagram, baby, because Instagram still exists. So I don't want to hear about TikTok. I really don't. Y'all can agree to disagree with me. Some of y'all can feel y'all feelings. I don't care. Because guess what? Y'all still follow me. Y'all listen to me. I'm still relevant without a TikTok. They used to tell me, oh, Ernest, you gotta get on TikTok. You gotta get on TikTok. You don't get on TikTok, I'm relevant. Baby, I have stayed put. I did it for my book. And it was cool. Like book talk was feeling the kid, but honestly, after that, I was over it. Like, there's only so many social media platforms I'm going to use. And to be quite honest, trying to be on all of them is just exhausting, to be honest. I'm just being real. Like, I've hit that age where I'm just like social media fatigued when it comes to new shit. I mean, I'm open to new things, but honestly, like, okay, listen, it's LinkedIn, it's YouTube, it's Twitter, it's Facebook, it's Instagram. That's a lot of fucking apps. That's a lot of fucking like apps. I think that's all of my major ones. Facebook, did I say Facebook? Facebook, the girl on Facebook. Like, those are the only major ones I'm on. I'm barely on YouTube. I just upload like interviews I do sometimes, but like I'm on YouTube to watch things, but my YouTube channel got old stuff. If you want to watch old videos of me over the years, you can check them out. Episodes of Ernestly Speaking are on there. So for those who loved Ernestly Speaking when it was a TV show, it's on there, and my specials I do sometimes I put them on there as well on YouTube. So, there's a place for that. But outside of that, like, that's it. Like, that's all y'all getting from me, on social media, unless there's something really awesome. Like, I'm not even on Threads, and like, I got a Threads account so nobody stole my handle, but like, when everyone trying to make Threads a thing, child, I knew it was gonna flop. Nobody's on Threads. Nobody talks about Threads. Threads is not it. No one pops. You know how I know Threads is not pop? Because y'all are still talking about Twitter. Like, news outlets still report things that happen on Twitter. I don't see anyone that is like, this breaking news, this incident, this person revealed on Threads, X, Y, and Z. Nobody's on Threads. Like, Threads did not happen. Threads is not fetch. I remember there was all these older people who were haters on Twitter because they know how to master Twitter. Listen, if you know how to master Twitter, it's okay. It's not for everybody. But I remember it was like a whole lot of people getting hype about it. Like, that's it, Twitter. Threads is Threads, because they thought they was going to be able to reinvent themselves and be that person. Still corny. Still not it. Y'all, I don't really think like I feel like after TikTok, I don't think any new apps are going to happen. Like, I remember Blue Sky, like they were trying to make Blue Sky a thing, and that didn't really happen. The Cookout never took off. Like, I'm just thinking about all these like apps that were supposed to like, be alternatives to Twitter. Baby, ain't nothing compared to X, baby. It is still lit. I don't call it X. I still call it Twitter. I'm not calling it X. I just refuse. But like, it's just not happening. It's not. Like, Twitter it might have lost a little bit of its pizzazz, and its glory days, some of its glorier days are behind itself. But nothing beats the hilariousness, the silliness, the viralness of Twitter. Me and my bestie, my besties, Jamarcus, Dr. Parks, like, y'all, we on there. We love the mess. We love the filth. I mean, Twitter is it's just, nothing beats Twitter. I'm sorry. It's like it's my favorite app. I have the most followers on there, but I just, people do like TikTok, I guess. I mean, TikTok still is hot right now. There's a couple of moments on TikTok. I'll give them that, and Instagram. I mean, Instagram is Instagram for the visuals alone. But like, Facebook has definitely lost its luster. I'm just really on there with friends and family and be nosy and just like see what my older folks in my life be posting. Cause some people be posting their business. I enjoy a good Facebook post of people sharing mess, like the old heads. But like outside of that, Facebook is just, familiar. But yeah, that's what it's giving. So Don Lemon, let's talk about Don Lemon. Don Lemon got a $24 million settlement from CNN. So let me just start by saying, from a black queer man in media to another black queer media, get your money, sis. Get your money, sir. Get your money, okay? $24 million settlement, baby, okay? He did not go down without a fight. So that's good news. However, good news rescinded. This man decided to do a show on Twitter, with Elon Musk. Like, he really believed that Elon Musk was trying to diversify his platform. So Elon Musk is doing this thing where he wants to do platforms for different voices. First of all, I knew that was some bullshit from the jump. But Don Lemon is premiering his show this week. And it's gonna be a new show. His first interview was with Elon Musk, where basically he was playing journalist. Like, Don Lemon was asking Elon Musk the big questions, asking him the real shit. And apparently after Elon did the interview, he told the people, cut the contract, cut the deal. We ain't doing this. Like, he was over it. Like, he was like, hell no. Because Don asked him some tough questions. Now, the interview is going to go live. You can find on YouTube. I guess Don is taking everything to YouTube now and some other streaming platforms, but he's pretty much done with the Twitter ordeal with him. There is speculation about whether there was a contract or not, whether anything was really signed. But Don, funny enough, now this is hilarious, he returned to CNN and was like, gave them an exclusive interview in person on CNN. I know that's the fuck right. Now, even though I'm annoyed because I'm like, how do you trust Elon Musk? Like, how would you believe him? The fact that he came back on CNN to make an appearance, to talk about his shit on their show, a week after getting $24 million settlement, baby, let me tell you, that's how you do it. Now, that's how you check a bitch. I was here for that. I was elated. So, congratulations, returned. But other than that, I'm like, sure, did you really believe Don, or was this a stunt? Because it's giving stunt queen. But I can respect Don Lemon's relevance. Like, he's maintained relevance in spite of all of this. You know what I'm saying? Because what happened to him really was, a little frustrating. But he has been able to still maintain relevance in spite of all the bullshit. So, I think he had the last laugh. So, I don't really talk about I don't know what we call her, but we'll say soon to be potentially King William's wife, who might be Queen, Kate Middleton. There is a scandal in Buckingham Palace. But I have to call it Nuckaview Buckington Palace because there is some tea going on over there. I don't know what's going on in Buckingham Palace, but the streets are talking. I don't know exactly. So Kate Middleton had an emergency procedure. We don't know what the nature of it is. I mean, clearly it's surgical, it's health related, something. But she put out a picture last week with her and her family. The gag is the picture was so distorted and edited down that basically Associated Press, even though the picture came officially from Buckingham Palace and from, the firm, they basically was like, we're not running this photo. This photo has been altered so much that the photo's not accurate. The Associated Press people, which is one of the major news wiring companies in the world, basically said this picture is fake and we will not run it. So since then, Kate Middleton fessed up and admitted that the photo was not accurate in a statement. However, nobody is physically seeing her. Like, nobody knows what's going on. Is it a surgery on the face? Is it health related? Like, what the fuck is going on over there? Nobody has seen her whereabouts. Nobody knows what's going on. It's creating speculation altogether. There's speculations and allegations that allegedly William is out here cheating on her with her friend who is less attractive. There's apparently a rumor of an affair with her. Like, apparently, allegedly, he is having an affair or had an affair with her best friend, and there's some issues in the marriage. Ironically, even though she shouldn't be brought up, the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, okay, which is Harry's wife, Prince Harry's wife, apparently decided to get back on social media. Now, the gag for me is, I know this is not related, and I'm not trying to, compare the girls. First of all, let me compare this part. The British media and the tabloids have been very nice on Kate compared to Meghan Markle, which lets you know one thing. Oh, it's been racism. Cambridge, Duchess of Cambridge, Kate Middleton. Like, it's given racism. We knew, but see, black people knew. We all knew, okay? When Queen Oprah said, is it this or that, when she said her famous line, it was a question. And I said ever since then that situation, it told me everything that I need to know about everything that was happening. And I told myself that I knew that something was going on when she had asked that question about about what was going on. So I knew something was up. And ever since then, I felt like it was, it was something. I'm just saying, I'm happy that she's able to have, that she's having the last laugh, because so much of the conversation has been focused on, Carrie and Meghan, but now the conversation is on Kate and William's tea. And I feel like that's saying something, that's saying something. And I feel like there's a lot of conversations, that I feel like the shift is happening. And the British tabloids have been trying to point the finger on Meghan Markle and trying to make it connected to Carrie and Kate, talking about her like, oh, is she distressed because of the racist stuff? Is it the accusation about Kate Middleton being racist, allegedly? There was questions about that, but I kind of was like, whatever. So I remember Oprah said, were you silent or silenced? And I will never forget that meme. I will never forget that question. So the question that came was, were you edited or were you edited? Like, what's going on over there? Because there's something going on. Did you cheat or was you cheated? Like, those are the real questions we need to be asking in Buckingham Palace. So, we'll see. Now, a lot of you all asked me about this. Now, this is some Philly news before I get into some hot tea, because there's some hot tea going on, okay? So, the tea. So this week in Philadelphia City Council, everyone's talking about it. The big news is Cherelle did her major big one. Mayor Cherelle Parker. Mayor Cherelle Parker did her big one when she announced the budget, the city budget. I was there live on WRD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, Progressive Black Talk Media, for Philadelphia City Council Live as the host. And she did her budget address. And I have to tell you all, this was probably one of the most exciting, enthusiastic, motivational local addresses I've ever heard from a city politician in Philadelphia. I can't put it into words, but it felt like the State of the Union. Everybody, Democrats, there's only one Republican in City Hall, Brian O'Neill, who's been there forever. But she got everybody up on their feet multiple times throughout her address. She was energized. She knew her shit. There was just great moments of pause. She was passionate. She was emotional in the right parts of her speech. She just showed a lot of love. There's a swagger to Mayor Parker that I think has been missing in Philadelphia for 8 years. Like the soul of Philadelphia under former Mayor Jim Kenney, which people have been like, where the fuck did he go? He just disappeared. But he was disappeared like half of his second term anyway. So kind of like, I mean, really, like that man went away, which I'm happy he did. Like, I'm just happy that Kenny's gone. Like, bye bye. Enjoy vacation. You don't want to be mayor no more, and we knew it. And we're happy that you are not mayor anymore. Like, I'm just happy that Philadelphia is like, I don't know. They're like, even though there's been a lot of things going on, the SEPTA shootings, all this stuff, there just seems to be a level of pep and step. And I know there's people that just really want to just hate on her and just, be pessimistic. But y'all gotta, I mean, we gotta really move on. Like, we gotta move forward and really, give this a chance. Like, I do have a sense of optimism about the future of Philly. Like, I do have a sense of optimism and enthusiasm about the future of Philly. Like, I do feel it in me. Like, I just can't describe it, but I do feel like things are getting better. Yes, we should always trust but verify. Yes, we should monitor things. But I do like the conversations I'm hearing. And, her budget is really, real. Like, some of the highlights that I took notes on is that, one, it's a lofty budget. She wants to do a lot. She's calling it the One Philly budget because that's her big thing, One Philly, for a cleaner, greener, safer city with economic opportunity for all. But it's ambitious. It's an ambitious budget. She was up there talking her shit, and really doing her thing. It's a $2 billion investment over 5 years. Some of the big stuff, the big highlights is she's focused on public safety. She's focused on a cleaner, greener Philadelphia, which one of my favorite things is that she's big on street sweeping and cleaning. She wants to get serious about illegal dumping. She is doing like $25 million for district-based residential cleaning in all districts, councilman districts. She's going to put $130 million in neighborhood and residential cleaning, which is a big deal. She is going to do $9 million for added illegal dumping crew and a camera program, $6 million for an expanded enforcement to do it, and she wants $3 million for a special bulk collections crew, $8 million for taking care of business support. She's also doing a lot of stuff on economic opportunity for all. She's planning a $10 million investment in Community College Philadelphia. This is CCP, establishing a first in the nation city college for municipal employment. Pretty dope. Like, they're going to train people to earn while they learn. They're going to give stipends for folks that's going to learn municipal jobs. She's going to prepare them for city careers and city government, doing some good paying jobs, healthcare, and retirement benefits. Like, she's not playing games. She's going to do a business roundtable. She's going to do an economic opportunity investment where she wants to put nearly $20 million in new operating investments for economic opportunity. There's going to be some accelerator fund. That's $1 million or $1 million for Innovate Capital Growth Fund, which is going to help entrepreneurs access equity investments in the city. She's investing in housing. She's planning to do 30,000 units of affordable housing. 30,000, which isn't bad. Other things she's doing is she's investing in education. She plans to do $24 million in new operating investments with a $140 million over the life of this plan. She's planning to do an additional $119 million for the school district. And the plan is that she is proposing a shift in the share of the real property tax, which will go to the school district from 55% to 56% increase. And she says that over the life of the plan, that will mean an additional $119 million for the school district. That's a pretty big damn deal. Overall, she assumes basically with the fiscal, this is the fiscal year 2025, where she's going to assume $6.21 billion in revenue, $6.3 billion in expenses, and there will be a $486 million projected fund balance. She's doing some stuff with minority contracting goals. She's doing some stuff with a funding request and racial equity. And it's going to be a 5-year plan. So a lot of this stuff is going to be from 2025 to 2030, which is basically a lot of her first term. So her first term, of course, as you know, is 4 years. So the good thing about this is that we will know, based on the success of this plan, that by her reelection, if she decides to run for reelection as mayor, we will be able to assess if a lot of this stuff really hits. It's ambitious. But the big thing that I want to make sure I note is that she says there will be no additional taxes on Philadelphians. So Philadelphians will not have any new taxes. Read my lips, no new taxes, she says. She's not going to be George Herbert Walker Bush and make a lie. Hopefully she keeps true to her word, but there will be no additional taxes on Philadelphians to propose this very lofty plan. And for those who was like, what is she doing for public safety? She's going to increase capacity for community policing. She is doing a lot of work in Kensington with this the Kensington Caucus, which is they're going to be working to do a $100 million investment to support the managing director do work specifically in Kensington. And she's reducing violent crime. She says she's going to do some more strategic deployment of personnel, staffing issues with the police, specifically with 911, and a $45 million investment in a new forensic lab that will help with, investigations, whatever. There's a plan of a $150 million increase in operating and a $471 million increase in capital, which will be over $600 million combined in public safety. Apparently this is going to go across with police, fire, L&I, and the managing director's office to build, work around public trust. So we'll see with that. But her budget overall is pretty ambitious, and we're looking to see what happens. So the moment y'all have been waiting for, Martin Luther Cream, Talcum X, Thurgood Marshall, the man, the myth, the legend, Shaun King. So Shaun King recently in the news has converted to Islam. Interesting enough, at the start of Ramadan, he has initially announced that him and his wife have converted to Islam and are now Muslim. And a part of, Shaun King gonna always have a grift. There is allegedly a grift. There is a GoFundMe account that they've set up to raise food for iftar for Ramadan. The plan is that apparently there's going to be a fundraiser. He's already raised over $1 million to raise money to go to feed families in Gaza during Ramadan. And it does not stop there. He's also going to be doing a tour with the Macklemore artist, who's a very big pro-Palestinian artist. Not pro-Palestinian. Well, he's pro-Palestinian. Macklemore is the rapper, the white guy in Macklemore. Because I guess it was Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, the other guy. So I guess they were like a little duo. And they did that one album, The Heist, that everyone was hype about, which was interesting. And they beat Kendrick Lamar at the Grammys in the rap categories, which is also another annoying thing. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on. So anyway, he is doing some stuff with this with Macklemore, this other prominently known Muslim, influencer. Like, it's back on the bullshit, y'all. So his plan is that he wants to provide hot meals during Ramadan in Gaza. He's already raised over $1 million. There's also other, controversies that's being talked about. I've been following some of them. So one of the big things is that every time he comes out with some new identity, and I say that very much so, he is also doing stuff that is asking for some type of money. So now he's doing a thing with Khalid Beydoun called Exclusive Tour, called Hope During Times of Gaza, during times of genocide in aid of Gaza, book now. So they're asking for limited tickets. They're selling tickets to this tour. It's an uncensored iftar. General admission is $60, but they're doing premium tickets that comes with a 3-course meal, a meet and greet, and a book signing. That's apparently $120. They're doing a child ticket for $20, and there's a $10 booking fee. Like, what are they doing? He's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, selling these. He's going to do in Atlanta, Georgia on Friday, March 29th. On Friday. So that's next week. But these tickets are ridiculous. He is back at it on his bullshit. Now he's Muslim. Now he's doing tours and selling tickets. Now he's doing GoFundMes to raise money for families in Gaza to eat during Ramadan. I just hope that, first of all, I have friends that, of course, are Muslim, and they told me Muslims don't play about scams. Muslims do not play about liars. Muslims do not play when it comes to this type of stuff. So, people are calling him Osama bin Scammer, all kind of new names. They're calling him Rama Scam. They're calling him all kind of stuff. All I gotta say is, lying, listen, he didn't lie to black about to piss off the black community. We be giving grace, but I don't know about the Muslim community, because if they don't play when it comes to people that mess with their faith. And so he gonna fuck around and find out. So in my debut for Airmail, which, by the way, the amount of love, passion, readership, thank you all. Every time I make my debut in a new publication, especially a national publication, I'm always, I'm not nervous, but I always get a little jittery about how the public reaction is going to be, how people are going to read it, how people going to like it and things. But every time I make the premiere, whether it's the New York Times, whether it's Washington Post, the Daily Beast, Rolling Stone, you all always show up and show out and turn up. So I just want y'all to know that they saw it, and there's more to come. I have more great, exciting stories to write, but I really love Airmail. So Airmail is a publication by a legendary journalist, longtime journalist, and he's a legend. The legendary Graydon Carter, who's an award-winning editor at Vanity Fair, and the co-editor is Alexandra Stanley, who is a former foreign correspondent and critic for the New York Times. I am working with these incredible legends in the industry to produce my work. So this piece on Shaun King was a piece I really want to write for them, because their readership is very, they got a really strong readership. And to be published at a place like Airmail is a pretty big fucking deal. It's a new digital weekly publication. They are doing news and culture at a civilized pace. They have a great newsletter. You can subscribe. You can pay for a subscription. You can subscribe to their newsletter to read their content for free. You can read my incredible articles. But I'm also going to continue to write for other publications. Of course, I'm not going anywhere at Philly Mag, Eater, everywhere else. Baby, we're just, increasing the empire. And so I'm super excited to be writing for them. They're so sophisticated. Just the editors, the way that they are really good with fact checking, just working with me on challenge me to expand my reporting. It's been a great experience. So this piece I wrote for them was on Shaun King, and it came out at a great civilized pace. This piece is, I call it the Hamas Whisperer, ? Basically talking about Shaun King's latest transformation to being very involved in the Hamas-Israel conflict, basically getting involved to the point where he claimed that he was involved in negotiating a release of these Israeli hostages, but we're Hamas was the ones who had them. So how did you negotiate with terrorists, which is against United States policy, foreign policy? You don't negotiate with terrorists. Who the fuck, what the fuck, who? I don't think anyone really believes him, but he's been claiming that he was involved in this process in some way. The family there's been family members connected to these two Israeli hostages that have claimed that he was not involved. They're yo, this man was not involved, but they did not ask for his help. They do not fuck with him. And they've been making it very clear. But then there's also been, it's been mixed things. But honestly, no one really believes him. No one really believes him. I don't believe him personally. But he's been out here, claiming that he is, he helped free a pair of Israeli hostages. Because of his recent notoriety, and because I have been one of the prominent journalists that have been covering Shaun King for years, trying to make the public aware of some of his questionable behavior as he continues to become even more of a figure in politics and international now. He's a public figure, and although he hates me and has definitely disrespected and arguably slandered my name, attempted to slander me, I have continued to stay on that ass because I think the public should really know who they're dealing with. So I wrote a refresher to let people know some of the allegations and concerns around him and some of his history of failing in this social justice, world. And how several Black activists and even the mother of Tamir Rice, who was a young man who was extrajudicially killed by law enforcement. She has accused him of being a fraud and a liar and a lot of things. And there's been questions about Shaun King's race, which I think is a fair question because his birth certificate lists a white woman as his mother, which his mother is white, and a white man as his father. And the only thing he has said consistently is that his white mother told him at a young age that his real father was a light-skinned Black man. Even though no one has been able to trace the DNA or find who this man is or anything. So I don't believe him. I think it's all facade. Now, he went to Morehouse College. And what did he do? He was initially a minister in Christian ministry. And then now he has become, involved with Muslim and Islam and things. So it has been a very interesting Ramadan for those who observe and those who've been covering the situation at large. I just want my Muslim brothers and sisters, as a member of the Black community, and those who are Black and Muslim, my Black Muslim folks who already know what's up with him, let your people know. This man's trying to be international with it. Let people know what you know. That's all. So this week's Ask Ernest is a really good one. I really like this question. It comes from somebody this week, and I'm gonna read it the best of my ability. So, hey Ernest, hopes all is well. Really, really hope you enjoying your spring. And hopefully you're staying well and staying away from stomach bugs. Thank you, because these stomach bugs are really, it's no joke. So reading this. Lately I have been in this weird cycle of having issues with a particular friend of mine that I perceive to be very difficult. I don't want to not be friends with them. I don't think it's going to lead to a breakup in the friendship. However, we've been having some difficulties because a lot of my friends do not like this friend. Over the years, it was a subtle buildup, but now it has become a situation that I feel like is creating friction with my other friends. Recently, they have said this individual friend is very mean, uptight, and just flat out a bitch. Ooh, ouch. As a friend of everyone, I have tried to be the mediator several times, and things would then calm down. But then there's been moments where things would escalate with this particular friend, other friends, and now I have found myself in between. They like me a lot, and we are very close, but now I feel like I have to decide whether I can invite them to certain outings, events, in hope that there would be no smoke. Okay. What should I do, and how do you advise I deal with difficult friends? Have you had an experience like this? I can only imagine. And if so, how did you handle it? I like Ask Ernest when y'all ask these questions. It's interesting because I like to avoid questions that make me feel like I'm getting uncomfortable. But then I'm like, well, no, because these are the things that make this section of the podcast good. So to answer your question, yes, I have had situations where I have been friend to all, but not all my friends were friendly amongst each other. And I will start by saying full disclosure, it has never been the Lip Brothers. The Lip Brothers like each other. We love each other. The boys of the group is good. I don't want to get now and put out the gender. I would just say that it is very interesting. I would have liked, I would be curious to know in your question. You can DM me privately, but I'm curious to know if there are age differences amongst your friend circle. Because I think in my friend circle, I think some of the differences of opinions and disagreements might be based on there are some age differences. So I'm 32, but I have friends in their 40s. I have friends in their 30s, and I have a couple of friends in their late 20s. And so I've noticed that there has been some generational differences in approach and experiences. And I think that has shaped some people's attitudes and way they do things. We're all adults, and I do think respect is crucial. I think how I have handled it, however, is that as a friend, you got to read the room. You got to remember, and this is my advice to you. You got to remember that your relationships are your relationships. And as much as it is a joy and a hope that you will want to have all your friends in the same room and be cordial, because to be quite honest, as an adult, it is important to make sure, like, especially with me, I'm going to keep it 100. My time be limited. So the best times for me, I don't have the time. Do I? It gets hard as you get older, as you can imagine, as you already know as an adult, that it gets hard to do a lot of one-on-one with everybody. I try to, as a friend, every 6 months, have a one-on-one with all of my friends every 6 months. Now, some of my friends, I'll get to that in a minute, but I want to take my time because there's a lot of things in my mind going on what you're saying. I try to have a one-on-one with all of my friends at least once every 6 months. Idealistically, I like to do group stuff more frequently than that. Like I like to get groups in clusters to get together. Either it's a birthday or an award ceremony. So I try to get all my friends together in a cluster for holidays and things more frequent than that. So it's either we do a dinner for the holidays, something, but I like to have more rotation. It's better for me to do cluster gatherings because we can then get other people to be together. So I love to be able to be like, oh, one of my, 4 of my homegirls, we can get together and do brunch, or we can go to something, or I can get, my lit brothers. Like my lit brothers, we hang out all the time because it's easier. Like it's easy to have 4 of the dudes. Like we can all hang out, get drinks. That's easy for me to do. But to do like a one-on-one is harder because I like to do smarter. But then let's be real, it is important to do one-on-ones because there are some times where you want to have some intimate, like, hey, what's going on in your life? Like, what do you got going on? So I try to do it frequently, as much as I can. And sometimes I like to hop on the phone. Sometimes, a good phone I'm a phone girl. Like I love a good phone conversation. Or I like to do, text message DMs, if you got a really good friendship. Like I have some like longtime friends where we may not physically see each other for like a 2 weeks or period, but because we be in the DM so much, it would have felt like we never missed a beat because I'm low key throughout the day sending them shit going on in my life. They telling me what's going on theirs. And so communication, but like you can only do that with people you've been friends with for like multiple years. If you got a new friend, I wouldn't recommend that. But I say all this to say, because don't digress, but I say all this to say that everybody, like in a perfect world, it's nice to be able to get all your friends together and everybody can be cool. I will say that I've been blessed that most of my friends niche and get along, like for the most part. There are some rifts among some people. Some people don't care for certain people. And so sometimes, with the exception of my birthday or a major gathering, I don't pair people like together because I do recognize, even if it's not like beef, there could be a little bit of, discomfort. And I do feel like I want to respect people because I want people to do that with me. Because in the other opposite end, I got friends that got friends. I'm like, I don't really like that person. They a little cheap for me. They're a little annoying. And then sometimes as the friend, you be right. So you be like, one day you're going to see my friend. And they be telling me that. And I'll be like, well, you might be right, but I'm going to do this differently though. So you do find situations where you will navigate different situations in rooms. My advice to you, because I'm just talking from my thing, how I've been able to maintain a level of civility is that I just recognize that, look, certain groups of friends don't mesh with certain groups of friends. And I don't want to exclude people, but I recognize like, unless it is a larger, like what I call family gathering where we are doing, a New Year's party or a birthday party or something, then, because what happens then is that I'm having a large party. So if you don't like a person, You don't gotta be with them. You can go on the other side or whatever. You got there's other people for everybody to mix and mingle so nobody feels excluded. But in intimate settings of like 5 or 4 people, I may not necessarily do that because I'm like, I want people to feel comfortable in things. So like I've learned how to, delegate different vibes and spaces in different groups to just avoid unnecessary drama or friction. Especially a lot of that was during my wedding because the girls were. Anyway, I just learned that it's important to just make sure you maintain space and give people space. And, recognize too, like, if there's certain friends that's having like, friction or things, just also recognize too to give people space. Sometimes you just need to take a little break or they need a break from the team. Maybe it's sometimes you can spend so much time with a person, sometimes it can exhaust you or annoy you. I got certain friends where I can spend time with them every day and never be over it. But then there's some friends where I'm like, yo, you are like, well, let me be respectful. Sometimes you can be around a certain person and you can just be like, yo, this is exhausting. And I just need a little bit of space. Not because I'm going to not be friends with you, because I do love you, I care about you, but I just need a little bit of space because you're a little exhausting. But sometimes, you can, there's people that you really want to spend a lot of time with, but you're so busy, they're so busy, and like, you got to make things work. But I would say 99% of the time, I like all my friends. I will spend time with them on a regular basis. But sometimes there'll be the moments where you just be like, I need a breather because you're exhausting me. You got a lot. You are exhausting me. Some people listening to this podcast are going to take wild guess of who I'm talking about, who are they. Don't do it. Be respectful. Be cute. The big thing for my friendships is respect. Now, that's my big one. You may not personally agree with a person, like a person, but what I am big on is respect. I do not in any circumstances allow for or accept any of my friends being disrespectful to my other friends. Like, that is a no-go. If situations like that be happening, then I am going to it is going to be a problem. I think we can all be civil and be respectful. All the other shit be for the birds. Now, I've been big on that. Like, in recent years, I have cut off people. Like, real rap. I have cut off certain people in my life, in my friendship circles, because they were just not respectful to other friends of mine. And I will do not play that. I have people that I'm friends with that I don't like their other friends, some of their friends. But you know what? I will say I am very respectful. I am very much a team player. I am cool. And I will go with the flow and keep it very classy and keep it very cordial. Like, we're all adults. But when people start losing a sense of respect, like if you got a situation where it's like you got a person that is like consistently disrespectful, don't know how to check themselves with your other friends, and it's a consistent thing. Like, everybody had their moments, right? But if it's like a consistent thing where they're just really hella disrespectful and mean, then yeah, that might be a thing. But like, sometimes I will have friends, it's like, oh, this person not so friend. Listen. Everybody ain't going, in a perfect world, I wish we could all be kumbaya like them, be cool, besties and close. But sometimes people just not like that, and that's okay. But as long as people stay respectful and stay cool and calm, I think that is the ideal. So that's my advice. Maybe I didn't overshare. Maybe some of y'all going to be taking wild guesses. Maybe some of my friends going to be looking at me like, now. But you know what? I'm just giving advice, and I'm keeping it real, okay? And I'm keeping it cool. And I'm not naming names. I'm just keeping it cool. Moving on before I get in any more trouble, or not, or just being real. So movies that I've been watching. So outside of Stormy documentary, there's this really good documentary called Quiet on the Set, and it's about Nickelodeon and the scandals, the sexual abuse and scandals at Nickelodeon. It's a very serious documentary. It is really, it's about the toxic workplaces, about the culture. It is juicy. Former Drake and Josh child star Drake Bell opened up about the sexual abuse he experienced while there. It's trigger warning. If you're a victim of sexual abuse or any of that, and you're triggered, I don't recommend it. But it's been airing on Investigation Discovery, and it's streaming on Max, which is HBO, formerly HBO Max. But it is really good. It's called Quiet on the Set: The Dark Side of Kids TV. It's a 4-part docuseries that is investigating toxic environment claims during the 90s. Now, this is sets run by Dan Schneider, who created like all these hit Nickelodeon shows: The Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, Zoe 101, iCarly, Victorious, and Sam and Cat. And he really helped launch a lot of major people's careers. Kenan Thompson, who was in All That, Good Burger, Amanda Bynes, Victoria Justice, Miranda Cosgrove, Jeanette McCurdy, who wrote that best-selling book about hating her mom. Yeah, like, he's been a big deal. He's helped a lot of people. And there's been a lot of iconic people, like, who's been speaking out. So Zoe 101, the actress Alexa Nicholas, who I got the chance to connect with, and she's been doing a lot of stuff to stop predators. I don't know if y'all knew, I met her at the Grammys, but we've been following her on social media, and y'all know I'm a big, huge, like, Me Too advocate, and I support a lot of victims and things like that. And so she has a great organization. She is a firebrand. Like, she is out here. Like, she's a big deal and really calling out Hollywood. I mean, all predators in the industry, which I rock with. And I had the pleasure of getting to know her. Her organization that she put out is called Eat Predators. And interesting enough, Britney Spears had mentioned her in her new book, which her new book is called The Woman in Me, and actually talked about her. Which is a big deal. She's also Instagram as Match the Source, but her company support is called Eat Predators, and she's really big. Her name is Alexa Nicholas. It's Nikolas, and her first name is Alexa. She got the lowdown. All the predators in the Hollywood industry definitely has waking me up to a lot of issues in Hollywood, and I have been like, I've been spellbound and shocked. So she's also a part of this documentary, and it just started running on Investigation Discovery ID, and it's also streaming on Max. What's also interesting is that they're also talking about racism and sexism that's also happening while working at Nickelodeon's TV series. So it's a lot of stuff about it, not just about sexual abuse, but also just other issues. This is a bombshell one. I'm like, yo, I know Disney somewhere shaking in their boots, or they done paid everybody else with settlements. Because I'm like, Nickelodeon, child. Like, it's a lot that went down over there. Just all kind of crazy stuff. So I highly recommend people watch it. Now, there is a movie coming out very soon in April called Civil War. It stars Kristen Dunst and a couple other actors. Let me be the first to tell you, right now, I have been fortunate to see a sneak peek of this film. Highly recommended. I highly recommend this movie. It is it is Apocalypse Now of the 21st century. If you ever heard about that iconic film. This film is very scary because it can actually happen. Like, that scares me. It's about journalists. It's about, it's called Civil War. It's about, basically, in a nutshell, what would happen if a group of insurrectionists decided to take over the country state by state and basically take over city governments and, like, basically, get weapons. And there's, like, all types of reports about, like, white supremacists across the country having their own private militias where they're getting all types of, rifle style weapons and, like, are, like, plotting to do all types of shit like that. I mean, there's all types of plans to kidnap the governor of Michigan. You heard about that. But there's all types of conspiracy-driven, I mean, I don't even call them conspiracy-driven, but there's a lot of investigations in actual domestic terrorism. Like, there are, like, all types of private, groups of people that got all types of bounty and shit, like, plotting for the day to somehow take over America. Which is why it's important for Trump to not get elected, because if Trump gets elected, we might see a potential bizarre civil war. And I'm not trying to scare people, but this shit is fucking real. So this movie coming out the way it is, when it is, I was baffled. It is, I mean, it's scary. It's so scary because of how true it could be. And the acting is phenomenal. It is very eye-opening, and we're going to be talking about this film all year. I just want to give you all the heads up. Like, I know I might have missed the mark on hyping up the Color Purple musical, even though I really liked it. I'm kind of sad it kind of flopped. But this Civil War film, it's not going to flop. y'all are going to be talking about this. And remember, you heard it from me first about this movie. It's crazy. It's a must-see. I walked out of that screening like, whoa. And I have been shook ever since. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I'm kind of like in Abbott Elementary. Did y'all see the episode? The recent one. Well, let me clarify. The one, not the most recent episode, but the one on Oscar Sunday where the white teacher's like, where were you on January 6th? The way I laughed. The way I hollered. Because now that's how I feel when I ask white people. Like my litmus test now with white folks that I don't know is, before we get cool, where was you on the morning of January 6th, 2021? I just gotta know. They be asking us questions, you know? Like, no more, I voted for Obama, I would have did it a third time. We don't believe you. We don't believe you because y'all voted for Trump right after. So I don't believe you when you tell me you vote for him. Now, some of y'all would have, but like, that's no longer the new, like white people, stop with that kind of flattery. Like, we're over it. Because let's be real. Obama was a good president, not just for black people, but for y'all asses. Like, he was a good president for all Americans. Let's be very clear. Obama's economic, healthcare, a lot of shit Obama did benefited everybody, you know, so much to the point that a lot of black people kind of, you know, slightly, some black people resent him slightly for not being, you know, as quote unquote black as they would have liked him to be when it came to public policy. Not questioning his ethnicity or his race or anything like that, but questioning his, like how, like they felt like, well, shit, if Trump was gonna be after you and go full mega white supremacist, you should have just went full pro-black, should have went all the way in and just really didn't have no fucks to give about what white people was going to think if Trump was going to be the successor. Because part of me feel like Obama was very reserved in his stuff. Because, I mean, he took a lot of heat when he said if he had a son, he would look like Trayvon. That's true. He's a black man. His son, if you look at Sasha Malia, like, they were the same type of skin complexion as Trayvon Martin. So he wasn't lying. But there are some people that felt like that was too much for a president to say, which is bullshit. Which is why I think he dialed back. Like, he didn't go to Ferguson. He didn't do all that. But you know what? Attorney General, Eric, was great. Eric was really great. That was like one of my favorite attorney generals, who really, Eric Holder Jr., who was an incredible, attorney general for the United States, an incredible AG. Like, I just remember all the black AGs we had during the Obama era. Loretta Lynch, which, by the way, I didn't really like what kind of lawsuits and cases she took up after she left the administration, but that's another story for another day. She defended the NFL during their whole racism drama, and she was on their side legally. And I was like, what? Anyway, annoying. That was disappointing. But anyway, Eric Holder is like my all-time favorite attorney general. Like, he went out there trying to figure out what was going on. He was the first black attorney general, and that man was a black man. Like, a black man. Like, he was that dude. He's from the Bronx. I got to meet him in person, by the way, and got to take a picture with him. And yeah, he's that dude. He's that dude. He went to Columbia. He was a basketball player. He was a teammate with the actor Ed Harris, where he played freshman basketball and football. Like, he was that dude. Okay. He went to Columbia for undergrad, and he went to Columbia Law School. He worked for the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund. He was a big deal. Like, I have a lot of respect for Eric Holder, one of my favorite people in political role. So anyway, long story short, this movie Civil War is dope. I highly recommend it. The end. So, music. I am super excited. Cardi B is back. Like, she's back. Like, she's back. Like, she is saying an album is coming. Like, this year. Take that, Joe Hamilton. It's coming, okay? This album is coming. Like, it's coming this year. First of all, let me just say, this year's Grammys album of the year is going to be stacked. Like, everybody's really dropping out the girls are dropping good music this year. I want to get on it. Casey Musgraves dropped the album this year that just came out this week. her new album, which I love, Casey Musgraves, and I loved it. This is a good comeback from Golden Hour, because her other album that came right after, it was I wasn't crazy about it, but her new album, her new album is fire. It's called Deeper Well, and it is really good. And she, she's just a great artist. So I'm looking forward to seeing how her album is going to be received. But I really liked her new album that came out this week. Cardi B got a new song, a new single, and I think that she is back. The music video is fly. She's out here working with, famous makeup artists, and I was hype about the people she's working with. With her in fashion, she's been really doing her thing. Like, she's been really, like, becoming the ideal. Like, I feel like she's officially the fashion female rapper of our era. She's had enough, okay? Enough. She's had enough. And she got Pat McGrath-inspired makeup looks. She's wearing the best fashion. Her rap lyrics are strong. I really love the video. I love the song. She looks good. Cardi B's back. And this new album is coming. I feel like she's finally in her groove. So I'm looking forward to what's coming next. Someone else dropped a new album. His name is Justin Timberlake. Hated it. Not crazy about it. People kind of think it's a good return to form, but also, like, underwhelming. More on that in a minute. But Beyonce's dropped a new album titled March 29th is the date, y'all. March 29th. Cowboy Carter, which, by the way, I'm happy people do their research, because a lot of people thought that Cowboy Carter was by Cowboy Carter. There's a lot of theories and thoughts about it, but everyone thought that it was named after her, her husband. But it appears that Cowboy Carter has a double entendre about black cowboys. She found out apparently in British Vogue when she did an interview, she kind of hinted at it in an interview that she did in November 2023. But, someone noted this in this interview that she did. They said Beyonce was interested in country. She had a really bad experience at a country. Someone said they think that she had a really bad experience at a country music award show, and she wanted to research its African-American roots. She discovered, quote, discovered that 50% of cowboys were black in 19th to 20th century, and in country music, of course, has been largely appropriated. She wanted to reappropriate Americana in country music from a black perspective, hence the cowboys and why they were wearing red. She's talking about the incorporation of the cowboy motif in the Adidas ads, which she's always incorporated cowboy, aesthetics. But anyway, they said that they were eliding those two ideas and redlining in those towns and the cowboys. She made a series of extraordinary films during lockdown, not out yet, apparently. She's made a series of extraordinary films during lockdown. It's some interesting stuff going on. Where are the visuals? I mean, she had Ivy Park Cowboy. There's been a lot of things being said and being done. So the Cowboy Carter is being, talked about. Apparently, she recorded this album during the pandemic. People are saying it's her most creative period. Renaissance is the first act. Act 2 is Cowboy Carter, which is country. There's 3 acts total. It's a lot going on, y'all. But Beyonce is back. March 29th. And it's funny, every time people miss Beyonce and we wonder where she at, then she comes. But there's a lot of talks about this album and what we know and what's coming. The anticipation is brewing. I must be honest, I did not get, I didn't buy a bunch of records. I didn't do all that. I'm just going to just stream it and I'll get into it. I mean, I'm here for it, but like Renaissance really got me going crazy. She's got some songs. They did the track listing. I believe there's 16 songs. The last song on the album is 16 Carriages. There's no features announced yet. There's like appears to be some version of Jolene. H-Town Hussy, which sounds interesting. But I never judge songs by track titles because sometimes the song you're excited about may not be the song. Like, you don't know what a song title gonna be. Like, it's funny because there's songs on Renaissance that based on the title, you wouldn't think it's gonna be a badass song compared to other songs with titles. So, like, for example, Heated. Oh my God. I love Heated. I love Heated. But then again, every time I listen to Beyonce's album, depending on the season, the mood, my mood changes. But Heated has been consistently my like consistent favorite song off that album. Like, I listen to it like by itself. It's a certain mood I feel. And when I saw the Beyonce, the Renaissance World Tour movie, the movie film, I cried literally in the theater when they talked about the inspiration behind Heated, which is, about her Uncle Johnny. And then they kind of did that, and then they combined it with the performance. Oh my goodness, I was in tears. It's just the meaning, everything about that song just hits a certain nerve. It's just so good. Honestly, I will argue, in my opinion, I feel like Heated is actually the perfect representation of the entire album. Like, I feel like Heated, like the incorporation of the Vogue, Uncle Johnny's references, the reference, the ballroom cat phrase call at the end, just the lyrics, the energy, like everything about that song. I feel like if somebody told me what song perfectly encompasses Renaissance, I think that Heated represents it. I think it incorporates all of the ballroom elements. It incorporates all the different sounds, the mood, the vulnerability of Beyonce, the vocal inflections and changes, Beyonce's own personal creativity, her personal life story involved in it, connection to the content, the queerness. I mean, everything about that song, I feel like represents, it's a tribute to her uncle, but it actually, I feel like, represents and epitomizes what the Renaissance album is. So somebody told me, what is the flagship song? I mean, like, I love, Cuff It. Cuff It is I think is my second favorite song, actually. I love Cuff It. And I love, Break My Soul. I think Break My Soul is a great song. I think Break My Soul is probably the second, like, major identifying song of the album. But to me, the one that if you ask people, what is Renaissance? What is the sound of Renaissance? I think Heated is perfect. Even in the tour, like the fans coming out, like everything about that entire song, performance, everything, I feel like embodies the essence of Renaissance. So, shameless plug. I can't get enough of her. I can't get enough of that. And I'm looking forward to Cowboy Carter. I'm excited. Like, I'm excited. Texas Hold'em is like, grew on me. When I first listened to it, both of the songs, I like both of the songs, but Texas Hold'em, I'm happy it's a standout, breakout, number one song. I'm happy it got all of it because it really is a fun, upbeat song. And y'all gonna give more love to 16 Carriages. Justice for 16 Carriages as well. So, I want to talk about J-Lo because I promised my bestie Jamarcus I was going to discuss this on the podcast. And talk about this article that came out, Variety, that was really good. So let me just keep it 100. J-Lo is not doing good. It's J-Lo. J-Lo. I'm going to call her J-Lo as in L-O-W. J-Lo. She's not having a good moment right now in music. So her album, This Is Me. Remember I told you about the film, right, on Amazon that I found to be very exciting and funny and all those things. Well, that was to promote an album. And I didn't even realize that. Like, she had a whole new album. And like you remember, I've been following this J-Lo album thing for a minute, right? This Is Me Now, whatever. I've been following this, Ollie. It's been my weird little fetish of like, sometimes I have a weird, if you follow the podcast, y'all know, like I have this weird thing where it's random and it interests me in a weird way. But I've been interested in this mystery J-Lo album and like, where the hell did it go? Because she kind of announced it and it kind of went away. And then ever since I said it, I feel like, I don't know if the musical spies were listening, but then all of a sudden the rollout came. But like, okay, the visual aspect of it was fun. But that album debuted at number 38 on the Billboard charts. First week, number 38, Jennifer Lopez. An album that had a full-fledged, I think they said $21 million film. I think they said it cost $21 million to produce it. And apparently she funded it out her own. I think she funded some of it. Like, I don't want to misquote, but I believe it was $21 million. And I think it was. I think the film was $21 million. Apparently it cost her, they said it was $20 million that she paid for, allegedly. It was a $20 million gamble. She spent $20 million of her own money to tell her love story with Ben Affleck. Yes, that is what they said. She spent $20 million of her own money. Now, J-Lo is worth, I believe, a lot of money. Her net worth is really high. Because I was like, how much money do you have to get to that point in your career? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, what kind of money you have that you could spend $20 million of your own money to pull this off. But she's got a lot of stuff. So apparently she's worth around $350 million. Ben Affleck, her boo, is worth around $150 million. So they're a $500 million couple. So, okay, you spent less than 10% of your, money to make this film. I guess. Well, apparently it's now $400 million, actually. So I need to correct it. An update. She has about $400 million. But I guess. Apparently she makes roughly $40 million a year, which is crazy. So I guess she had enough money to drop $20 million to make this film that flopped. So she spent $20 million of her own money to make that film. I guess she believed that the visual aspect of it was going to drive up, buzz for her album. But that one flopped. None of the major singles hit the top 10 on Billboard. And we're in the era of streaming, y'all. So, like, no streaming, it just did not work. Even though she had all these celebrities, all these stars, a red carpet premiere, it didn't work. Justin Timberlake's new album, has gotten some lukewarm reviews. People like it. They think it's a return to form, but they just feel like even his rollout for his album has been lukewarm. The SNL appearance didn't really land that well. He's been trying everything under the sun to get buzz. Ain't really popping. I mean, last week he finally got some news because he showed up on stage with NSYNC, which everybody wants an NSYNC reunion. Nobody really wants a Justin Timberlake album. I think the fans really want an NSYNC reunion. They don't really want to see Justin. I mean, the fans really want, you're not Beyonce. Like, the girls want a DC reunion and they want a Beyonce concert, clearly. But he has not been able to be successful. So they're talking about artists that's been in a certain era. I read the Variety piece, and they were talking about like how there have been artists that have not been able to be successful, drop new music, but put out nostalgia, like nostalgia sales. Like Rolling Stones can do tours all across the country. They try to do new music. Nobody really cares. Paul McCartney, same way. Madonna has gotten to the point where, Madonna's a little interesting. I know people don't really care a lot about Madonna's music as much, but Madonna still be on them charts, okay? Say what you want, but Madonna still be charting, okay? And she also, her celebration tour was killer. She still does packed out concerts, and the fans really like the old jams, but she still sells tickets and she still does well. Look, Celine Dion was still, doing, high chart numbers, even though, with her albums, and still top charts and still chart well. And yet the fans want the residencies and things. Some artists have done well. I think Beyonce has done exceptionally well. Janet, nobody wants like new music from Janet, which I understand, but the fans really just want, Janet's, hits. But Justin, I think, has gotten to that era where he's kind of aged. Like, I think a lot of it is not just aged on his music, but just the world has changed. Like, nobody wants Blue Eyed Soul like that. No, like history has not really paid in mind. And they said that it started with the reckoning of, Nipplegate. And I have consistently been credited for being a part of launching the major reckoning that Justin Timberlake faced in 2016. I am forever going to be a part of history and a part of this man's musical history. Like, you cannot talk about Justin Timberlake's musical career history without noting what happened to him, what role I played in this man's trajectory in his career. I was 24 years old on a hot summer in June of 2016. I was staying in a one bedroom. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't a bedroom. It was a studio apartment that was $450 a month. And I was sleeping on a futon, and I was live tweeting an award show. And I have a TV in my house, my place. I was fresh, just, kind of out of college, trying to navigate my career. Was really heavily freelance, and I had just started at Philly Mag. And in my room, tweeting. And look, here I am now, nearly 8 years ago. And look at where he is, and look where I'm at. Like, don't tell me the world can't be much. Like, don't tell me that miracles can't happen. Don't tell me the world does not work in mysterious ways. Don't tell me that divine intervention in the universe cannot sometimes create a very, karmic, reality. Like, who would have thought? I just, think about that. So now, as you can imagine, because his new album has come out, I'm being now resurfaced in articles, and my name is resurfacing. And, every time this man comes back, I am in the conversation. I find it funny. I've personally, I've moved on from Justin Timberlake's Three Crimes. I could care less what he does. Honestly, you won't hear me say much. Sometimes it annoys me. Like, every time something happens, everybody's like, "Oh, what'd you do? What'd you do?" I'm like, "Oh my God, y'all, it's been 4 years." Like, I'm a little over it. But then there's times I'm just kind of like, "Yeah, I did that. That was a moment," But I remember haters were like, "Oh, oh, this, you had your moment. Now that's it." And I've had not a moment, bitches. I've had a movement. Let me pop my shit, because y'all be playing with me. Not y'all, but some people. And I have to remind bitches. So yeah, I mean, it's been interesting. It's been 8 years since it'll be 8 years in June. But it's just been interesting how life plays itself and how the world changes. But the new album, I have not listened to it. I don't listen to any of his music. I couldn't tell you what it sounded like. But I've just read reviews, and reviews have been kind of lukewarm. Some people like that seems like he's back doing the music that they remember him doing. Some people just feel like the stuff is very basic. His album rollout has just been kind of whack. I didn't even realize the album was coming out this date, even though he's been promoting it for about over a month and been doing all these music videos, dropping these singles. But none of his singles have hit the top 10 on Billboard. None of them have made massive splashes, despite the visuals, all the stuff. Nothing's really been landing heavy. Now, I don't know how he's gonna debut on Billboard. He might debut at number 1, which I could see probably happening because it makes sense. But I feel like it's going to just quickly come and go, kind of like Man of the Woods kind of did. He has enough star power. I think he can still debut at number 1, but I don't know. I don't know. And NSYNC, him pulling out NSYNC, I feel like was a Hail Mary to try to build as much momentum, because it's not working for him by himself. And his team, he has delayed this album allegedly because of the Britney Spears backlash he faced. And Britney's tried to, I don't know what she be doing, but sis, you done did enough, baby. We love you, but fuck him. It's fuck him for life. So that's how we feel. Now with J-Lo, I just feel like with J-Lo, I think that these artists are fading. We don't want no new music. All the music we really liked from her, she wasn't singing. Word to my sis Ashanti, one of my all-time favorite Libras. But did y'all know, white people, that J-Lo did not sing a lot of her big hits? That she literally the vocals were from Ashanti. So if you heard I'm Real with Ja Rule, all of those Ja Rule songs, it was another person from Murder Inc. singing those songs. That was Ashanti. Ashanti was the vocals singing all that. J-Lo sung none of those songs on those recordings. So when you think about all the J-Lo songs that you like, Most of them are from Ashanti. Go and look up Wikipedia and look up vocals in the credits. And most of your favorite songs by J-Lo were sung by Ashanti. Really. Like, I'm just like in awe of it. When I found that out, my whole world changed. So a lot of the songs, J-Lo has opened up. She says it. I'm sorry. Ashanti opened up about a lot of the background about what happened. So a lot of people, and let me be clear, a lot of stuff. J-Lo did not sing a lot of songs. That Ashanti was the only one. Like Christina Milian sung stuff. Ashanti sung stuff for Jennifer Lopez. So Jennifer Lopez. So for example, Christina Milian wrote the song and sung Play's entire chorus. So you know the song Play, come on there, it's turning me on, it's turning me on. Play the whole chorus. Cause I want to be dancing all night. That is Christina Milian. Jennifer Lopez sung none of those vocals. Ashanti wrote Ain't It Funny and I'm Real. So ain't it funny? I got my boyfriend. You got that song with Ja Rule. Ain't it funny? Ashanti sung that song. And I'm Real, the song I'm Real, the way you walk, that was also sung by Ashanti. And so when Io, my favorite Libra, because Libra's out here saving the world, when the Emmy Award winning Io Idibiri, who is from The Bear, had referenced J-Lo and went in and talked about J-Lo's career being one long scam on Lacey Mosley's Scam Goddess podcast back in 2020. And, she gave that apology and all that because she basically was the host of Saturday Night Live and J-Lo was a star performer. It brought back the drama. And so this is what Io had said at that podcast. She said, well, that's the thing. She's good. She thinks she's on multiple tracks, but it's not her. I think she thinks that she's still good enough though. Like she's not singing for most of these songs. A lot of the write-ups of the songs will be like J-Lo didn't have time to make it to the studio. Like J-Lo was busy. Like it's like doing what? Not singing, obviously. Girl, that was a shame. But Io had said this and then she apologized and said, speaking to Variety, J-Lo said, apparently, she was mortified and very sweet. She came to my dressing room and apologized with tears in her eyes, saying how terrible it was that she had said those things. She felt really bad and loved my performance because we had just done my sound check and she actually got to hear me perform. And then added, Io was like, I'm so fucking sorry. It was so awful of me. That's what they claim. That's what J-Lo claims. I've heard from sources that allegedly that's not how that went down. Whatever. A fact is a fact, and Libras don't lie. Anywho, long story short, I say all this to say, because I buried the lead. J-Lo's new album tour that she launched, she's already canceled 7 tour dates. And I think she had like 37 total or something. She's already canceled 7 of them. And there might be more. Ticket sales have been low. Like, they've been low. Like, no one's buying these tickets. Nobody wants to see J-Lo. Because they know J-Lo don't really sing. Like, J-Lo should have did a fucking Vegas residency. I don't know why J-Lo wanted to do a whole tour. Like, no one asked for none of this from J-Lo. Like, no one asked for a J-Lo tour. Nobody asked for this album. Nobody asked for this movie. Like, nobody asked for this. And so to see this flop as much as it has, it's been rough. Now, they're saying August 13th, she's coming to Philadelphia, August 13th at the Wells Fargo Center. Because baby girl knows she can't do the link. But ticket sales has been weak. She's been canceling dates in Cleveland, Nashville, Raleigh, Atlanta, Tampa, New Orleans, and Houston, baby. H-Town don't even want to be a part of this tour. This was her first North American tour in 5 years. The tour got 30, shows, but 30 shows. They're still doing 30. So it was a 37 length tour, but now it's down to 30. There are large numbers of tickets at most of the tour dates still remain unsold, judging by the seating charts. Whew. It's rough. Sis, count your $400 million. Thank Ursula the Sea Witch for stealing vocals over the years. And just move on. Like, we don't want this. Be an actress. I felt like she gave more energy to her acting in that movie than she did to the singing and the songs on this album. Like, I didn't listen to most of the album. I couldn't fathom. I can't give JLo my precious oxygen anymore. So I say all to say that it's been a total shit show over there. So, moving on. TV. Good TV. If you have not been on Max, there is a great miniseries with one of my favorite actresses, Kate Winslet, who, by the way, I don't know what it is, y'all, but what is it with these damn Libras? Like, why are Libras taking over? Her birthday is a week before mine, October 5th. She was born in 1975, icon, which I didn't even know. Like, she's 48 years old. She was married to Sam Mendes, but now she's married to Edward Abel Smith. Now, Sam Mendes is a famous director. He's an Oscar-winning director who won for directing American Beauty, which was a big deal because it was his directorial debut, and he already won an Academy Award. And I thought when she won Best Actress, there was an Oscar-winning couple. Now she's married to Edward Abel Smith, which, you know, is an interesting guy. I don't really know much about him, sidebar, but they've been dating since 2011. They've been married. They've been married since 2012. So they've been married for a minute. I mean, she really likes him. They look good together. She doesn't really make that many public appearances with him, which has been telling, which I think she just like to keep her relationship private, which as a good Libra, I get it. Apparently his name was Ned Rock and Roll. He's really cute. But she's been happily married for a while. I remember when she was married to her last husband. And eventually his life in the spotlight, a lot of stuff was going on. Apparently he changed his name so he wouldn't get much attention. So apparently he's been like very like low key. He's like very low key. But they seem happy together. And she's so pretty. Yeah, but when she divorced Sam Mendes, which she was only married to Sam Mendes from 2003 to 2011, so that's 8 years. She's been married to him since 2012, Edward Abel Smith, which means they've been together for like 12 years. So, guess she really likes who she likes, right? Anyway, she's in this new miniseries called The Dictator. The Dictator is really funny. She's funny and weird. I don't want to tell it. The creators of Succession, one of the creators from Succession has created this show. It's very allegoric, very much like a metaphor about like dictators and leaders, and it's very timely. Love it, love the acting, think it's really good to watch. I've enjoyed it. Reviews have been mixed. People love Kate Winslet character as a hater. I'm in the I love her character. I find her fascinating, so I think it's worth the watch. And of course, I've been watching the grand finale of Capote and the Swans have come out, or is it? Yes, Capote and the Swans. The final episode, episode 8, the season finale of it, just came out. I watched it, so sad because it was such a good miniseries. It's on FX. I highly recommend you all watch it if you haven't. It's a really good miniseries. And I definitely think it's going to get some Emmy nominations because Ryan Murphy's going to do it. I think the actors are. I think the lead actor who played Truman Capote did a phenomenal job. I think his name is Sam Wallington or whatever. I find him to be a good actor. And some of the actresses, I can see Chloe Sevigny. I can definitely see Naomi Watts getting a nomination, Emmy nomination, Golden Globe recognition. Like, I can see a lot of these major players getting some nominations. So I highly recommend it. I think it's going to be great. Now, before I conclude this this episode of Ernestly Speaking, something very major is happening in my life. I cannot tell you what it is, but it's great news. It is going to break the internet. You all will be very shocked. It's going to break the internet. It's a personal thing, but it's also a very public thing, a very professional thing. Before y'all start, no, I'm not leaving Philly. I'm not moving. We ain't gonna do that. Um, it's not connected to journalism. I'll say that. And it's going to be a very big deal. It's going to definitely be a major milestone in my personal life and a major milestone in my overall career and everything. It's going to be life-changing. A lot of y'all are going to be shocked. A lot of y'all are going to have questions. And I think that the next episode, I'll be able to finally share. You don't know what it is because I haven't dropped any hints. I've dropped no hints. Because I can't. And I've kept it. I haven't told anyone. Even my lip brothers don't even know what it is. That's how much to the guard I've kept this. I told my mother. I told my husband. But I haven't told anybody else. I have to say that because my friends will be like, well, you told her, but you didn't tell me. Why you told that? So I will say that I have not told my friends. I've not told my friends. Plural. That's all I can say. But I will be able to tell you on the next podcast episode. You will find out on the internet. It will be crazy. It's a shocker. I'm even shocked. I'll say that. I'm even like, wow, this is going to happen. Like, and my bingo card, I was shocked. Some of you are going to, I think a lot of people are going to be very happy. A lot of people are going to be very, very happy. A lot of people are going to be like, I don't want to give it away. I'm talking too much. I'll just say a lot of people are going to be very happy. It's going to be very much a woe, but a woe in a very positive way. And before I say anything else, let me get my ass off this podcast. Until next time, as always, be well and be best. Ernestly Speaking is recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. To stay up to date with the latest on the show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mr. Ernest Owens. Use the hashtag Ernestly Speaking to tell me what you thought about this episode, and check out my website at ernestowens.com.